Asked
Hey
me.
everyone, it's Heather from Canine Company again, and I'm back here with Tracy. And this time we are talking about winter safety for your pets. Hey Trace, how you doing?
I'm doing great today.
Good. You look a little icy. Are you
Eh,
cold over there?
It's a little chilly.
Yeah, it looks a little
it's
chilly.
it's
You need to
looking a
bundle
lot
up.
like winter out there.
Yeah, I know, right? The sun is beautiful, but there is a little briskness to the air right now. So as we get into the winter months, it's definitely important to start to talk with our clients about, winter safety for their dogs, not just outside, but inside as well. But let's start with outside.
Yeah.
We have to do some modifications to our fence training when it comes to the cold too. We want to put up some green flags just for contrast. It's not about the color; it's just contrast along the back. And um, we also warn our trainers when they're out there, watch for icy patches and look for things that you may not see under that snow. Like there could be a bunch of wet leaves that are very slippery, or even, frozen little ponds or something that you didn't know were there, and something we don't want our dogs or our trainers or our clients to fall into. Yeah.
And I think you even get that sense when you start to get snow that's on the ground for a lot longer and it starts to freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw and it turns a little icy. And that can be a little bit sharp. So keeping an eye on just the terrain, no matter what time of year it is, but especially now when you can experience that difference in the ground covering. Yeah.
And plus the stuff that we as people use to keep that ground, try to keep it snow free and ice free. All of the salt and the sand and those things, they can get caught up in your dog's paws and paw pads. So it's really important when you're bringing your dog in, especially if there's some ice or snow outside, to make sure that he doesn't have his paw pads and the little hairs in between his paw pads aren't caked with ice or snow, or maybe some sand or salt that we've used to try to melt that stuff. I'll bet you your groomers run into a lot of that, Tracy, on the trucks, having to do
They
their trim.
do, but you know what's great about dogs that are getting regularly groomed? We're able to keep that hair nice and trim on their paws so that the snow and the ice and the salt doesn't get built up on there. But we also have Musher Secret, which is really great for your dog's paws to add moisture back into their paws. I mean, they really do take a number. Take a toll on their paws, as the winter months start rolling around. But a great product to go ahead and put moisture and give some care back into your pet's paws.
Yeah, it's kind of like chapstick for your dog's feet,
Yeah.
basically. It moisturizes and protects a little wax barrier for their paws. I know that if Wolf doesn't get groomed regularly, he gets Grinch toes with the little hairs, like little tufts of hair sticking out between his toes. And whenever he goes outside in the wintertime, he comes in with literally snowballs, like just hanging off of his feet. And we have to make sure that we have, a warm, wet towel nearby or something, because consider it's like holding on to an ice cube in your hand and you can't let it go because it's stuck to the fur on your feet. So we have to make sure that all that snow and buildup is gone away from their feet before we let them just walk around the house and stuff. I know that some of our trainers who are out in the field have seen a lot of sweaters and vests on dogs recently. I think that we have some of that available as well.
Well, I think they're cute. Who doesn't want to dress up their dress up their pet?
Yeah.
We all do that, especially now that we're home a little bit more often, that it's nice to kind of have that attention to give to our pets. But
Well,
yeah,
you're
we do have some vests that we have here, but my dog, he's a husky, so he loves this weather. So
Yeah,
he's
I
he's
was
not
gonna
wearing a
say
vest when he
your
goes out.
dog doesn't need a
He's
sweater.
rolling
No,
in the snow. Yeah,
he's definitely got his own winter coat, and
he
it
does.
certainly is one that I would say I'd like to borrow once in a while because he's very fuzzy. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's something that I think is important for people to understand. They're definitely cute, but once in a while, these short-haired dogs, they can't necessarily withstand the cold temperatures. And so if you are outside training, if you're doing training to your fence, or if you're trying to go for a run or go for a nice walk, it's important to try to keep it in mind that you want to keep those sessions short and fun, and be aware of how cold the ground is, and that your dog is standing barefoot on the ground, and that if you just keep your sessions to 5 minutes or 10 minutes at a time and then go in and warm up, and if you need to do more frequent sessions, that's fine. But what about exercising, when we really can't get outside? What are we going to do inside to keep those crazy dogs from tearing up the house, Trace?
Hey, Heather, I think that a lot of people know what they need to do to keep their pets safe outside. I think it's obvious, you might buy some products to keep your pets a little bit warmer. I'm not going outside as much, so therefore you're not going to spend as much time outside. And I think for our clients it is a lot harder to come up with activities in the wintertime to keep your pet engaged and to keep them exercising and to keep them mentally engaged. And I think if there's anything that anybody can pick up from here is I'm hoping we can give them some tips to keep the boredom away and to
Hmm.
help keep the bad behaviors at bay. And the winter time can bring all of those to the forefront. And sometimes you have to get a little creative. My favorite game to play during the winter time, and quite frankly, whenever there's lousy weather outside, is just an easy game of hide and seek. Come find me, where am
Hmm.
I? And it can be as simple as you going ahead and calling and being excited to get your dog to come find you in a different room, or you can be quiet and see if your dog seeks you out. I do think hide and seek with toys, hide and seek with people, and individual, it is a great activity to play to get your pet engaged in seeking and searching and using all of their senses when they can't get outside. It's
Yeah.
fun. And it's
Yeah, and
fun.
working
I
on
enjoy it.
recall
Yeah.
too. It's a fun
Mhm.
way to get your dog engaged in recall and teach them how to come and how to find you. And it's a great way to get the kids involved too. If you've got kids who are bored at home, put them to work training your dog, because some obedience training in the house will keep their mind engaged, as you mentioned. And a dog who's tired mentally can be tired out physically as well. It doesn't all have to be about roughhousing and running around. You know, Obedience or puzzle toys indoors, things where they have to work to get the treats out, or even do it yourself puzzle toys with a bunch of solo cups and some treats that are hidden under there are always helpful. Just something to keep them occupied and keep them busy.
Mhm.
And that's another thing, is we're bringing a lot of trouble into the home these days. We've got a lot of new things, decorations and candles and scented stuff and trees and all of these things that, wow, where did that come from? And boy, I'm going to go sniff that
That's
and destroy
exciting. Yeah.
it, and I
It's
don't know,
but
maybe
could
pee
you
on it.
imagine? It is so exciting for us to add all of these things into
Yeah.
your home environment. Now just think about your dog seeing all these things coming in like, "Ooh, a
Oh,
new
this is
source of water,"
amazing. Yeah.
that's giving the Christmas tree some nourishment and they're like, "Ooh, can I play in that?" Or
Yeah.
the dangling cute ornaments on the trees. That
Oh, yeah.
ooh, that's
Yeah.
fun. It's exciting and not only that, but the fact that we engage with those decorations makes our dogs want to engage with them too. If my owner is playing with that or they keep touching that, they keep decorating, the excitement level is there if we're touching it, they also want to be part of that as well.
Sure.
So
It makes it higher value to them.
it
Yeah.
definitely is. And they're not they just have to be shown or be told.
Mhm.
And I know we have avoidance units that you can use in
Mhm.
those situations to keep them out of areas that you don't want them to be in, whether it's unsafe
Mhm.
or it's something that's very valuable to you and that you don't want to have damaged. You can certainly use. Now I know there are a lot of people who might put barriers up. Let's place chairs all the way around the tree so that the dog can't get to it, or let's put the tree up on the table so that they can't get to it. Well, there are
Yeah.
solutions that we do have to help keep your pets away from all of those decorations that you bring into your house.
I love the idea of having Shields transmitters in the home anyway, without decorations, just to keep some things off limits for your dog. In my case, it's the cat food and the cat litter box are off limits for the dogs, and they know that. And then we have things that are off limits for the cats as well. But when you add something into the home, it's totally okay for that item to come with rules. So as you add the tree, bring a shield with it right away. So that tree is never in the house for a moment that it doesn't have the rule that this isn't for you to touch. This is off limits. You can still be in the same room with the tree, just this 4 foot, diameter around is off limits, and everything under the tree is off limits as well. Because I'll tell you what, if Fluffy chews on the PS5, I think somebody's going to be very
I
upset.
don't think I think whoever waited a long time to get that is going to be very
Yeah,
upset. So, but
exactly.
this time of year, and we might not be doing it so much this year, but guest rooms, extra rooms, that's a great place to always have a shield up, a shield's transmitter, keep your pets out of a guest area because you might have company who they don't really care for the dog hair. They don't care the fact that there's your cat or your dog is in the room that they would be staying at, and that's a good place to always keep it up. Or if you need to use it just for the holiday time when somebody's visiting, you can do that as well too. I think it's a place that sometimes gets might get overlooked, and it's that spare bedroom that guests might be using. It's a
I
great
know a
place.
lot of people who have guests that will come once or twice a year regularly, but those guests, they try to stay away a little bit more because they do have pet allergies. So keeping that one room of your home pet free entirely, where even when there's not a guest there, the pet is not allowed in that room, is really helpful for that.
Mhm.
So that you don't, invite someone, but really turn them off to
To
visiting
be
you
even
because they're
coming at all, yeah.
sneezy the whole time. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of visitors, which we may or may not have a whole lot of this year, it- being in the home with you is something that we at Canine Company, generally do for manners obedience. But this year, if you are not comfortable with having someone come to your home, we can actually come to you just like we are right now. We do provide virtual called e-manners training, and we provide training right on the Zoom platform where we can come into your home virtually and we can interact with your family, teach you and coach you and be your cheerleader on how to provide some really structured lessons with your dog and get that better relationship that you're looking for. So try to think about making it a, maybe a Christmas wish or a holiday wish or a New Year's resolution to spend some additional time with your pet this year and think about doing some obedience with them.
It might be a great gift for that person who's coming to your house to stay. That's your guest
Yeah.
might bring you that as a gift. So
Yeah.
that could be a very good gift for that person who wants to stay at your house a little bit more often, but wishes you had a little bit
Are you
more
are you
manners
giving
in
me
your
a hint
house.
that my dog
Oh, wait,
jumps too much?
I
Yeah.
was, what is
Yeah.
this? It'd be a great
Hmm.
gift. I
Yeah.
think they're great gifts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We do have some great gifts for the dogs too. Let's not forget about them with puzzle toys and tug toys and all the type of things that your dog wants to find in his stocking or whatever holidays you celebrate. Don't forget your pet when it comes to those. Run over to the pet shop at caninecompany.com and check out and see what we can get for you because those shipping deadlines are coming up very soon.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think that we've got a whole variety of toys that kind of fit into this idea of keeping your pet occupied to help alleviate the symptoms of boredom. I mean, we've got the Kong spiral stick,
yeah.
we've got the nibble kibble, the
Mhm.
topple treats, great. Oh, the licky mat.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
that is a great toy
Very
and tool to
popular.
be
Yep.
able to use,
That's
especially
a good one
indoors.
for when you're sitting around the dinner table and your dog that really doesn't need to be invited to that party, but he does need something to do to keep him occupied. I think that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. And I don't think, let's not forget too, it's darker a lot more.
Mhm.
Let's think about the items that you can get that can help to be seen outside. So whether you get the night eyes, the leash, the collar, or
Yep.
the
Yep.
attachment for the collars, just to be seen a little bit more. Sometimes it makes it easier for some nighttime play when you might not have all the time to interact with your pet earlier on in the day, but being able to get out when it's starting to get a little dark might be the best time you can get out there. So why not get
Yeah,
some light
if
on
you're
the
working
subject?
out of the home, by the time you get home, it's
Mhm.
dark out already. So
Yep.
having that little LED reflector on your dog's collar, or even having his collar be an LED or his leash be an LED, so that you're safe when you go out on your walks. If you're going out for a brief walk after work or whatever, those are really important. That's a good point, Trace. Yeah. We just also want to mention that there are several things that are not good for your dog to eat during the holiday season. So, those pretty plants, poinsettias, if you have them in your house or even outside decorating, those are not great. Um, you know, Pine cones are prevalent and they're all over the place. And if your dog chews on a pine cone, that's fine, but they can get sharp too. And that's not necessarily something that you want them crunching down on. Mine likes to carry them around all over the place, but he doesn't really eat them so much. And keep an eye on your pets too. If you're outside, one of the things that we use a lot as people right now is antifreeze for our vehicles. If your dog or cat has access to your driveway, if their canine fence allows them access into the driveway, look out for puddles of any kind that are under your vehicles because antifreeze especially smells and tastes sweet to a pet, so it attracts them and it's very, very poisonous. So keep an eye on that. Use some sand or kitty litter to dry up any potential threats that you have out there.
And we tend to overindulge with food this time of the year. I think it's
True.
we certainly eat a lot in this time where food is around all the time, but we've got to remember that sure, a little treat here and there for our pets is okay, but we don't want them to be the ones that are overindulging. I mean, that really can do a number to their digestive system. And even though there are some foods that you can give to your pet, and you just want to be careful and be mindful of that. It's very rich, our food that we tend to eat this time of the year, and just don't forget about that. But, I think we forget about some of even one of the biggest dangers that this time of year that causes a lot of poisonings amongst pet are just regular over the counter medications. And this time of year, where we do have a lot of people coming into our homes, the way that we tend to carry some of our medications in our bags, in our backpacks, where we just kind of throw them on the ground, or maybe they're in our coat pockets and we put them on the bed when we have company over, that we should be mindful about all of that, because sometimes when those accidents do happen and they ingest it, we don't even know how much they ate, because we don't even know how much was in the little baggie that I brought, and to know how much that they digested. And you just have to watch out. I think that's the key this time of year is anything you're bringing into the house is exciting. I might want to go chew on it. Anything that we're indulging on, our dogs want to overindulge on. And as we have guests coming into the home, we have to keep an eye on our pets a little bit more too, to make sure they're not getting into trouble that somebody who might not know is harmful to your pet could be harmful to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite things this time of year is the big chocolates that my grandparents used to send me every year. Is big giant chocolate pieces. And boy, you don't want your puppies getting a hold of that. That's a recipe for disaster.
You know,
Even if it's not a trip to the vet, it's a lot of cleaning. So,
That is, and that's what would happen. It's that during the time where you want to be spending time with your family, you'll be
mhm,
making a trip to the emergency vet, and
yeah,
that is not something that anybody wants to be doing on an important holiday, or family time, to be taking their pet to the vet.
definitely not. Definitely not. So, folks, we hope that you have wonderful and safe holiday season. We hope that your pets are well taken care of, and if you need anything from us, that you'll give us a call. And we hope that some of these winter safety tips have been helpful for you. Please don't hesitate to give us a call. Click caninecompany.com or find us on your app on your phone. And Traci, thanks again for joining me about winter safety this time.
Always enjoyable. I appreciate it, Heather.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.